In the days when the world was young, a dragon reigned over the skies. A dragon white as winter itself. The elves called him Arin the Frostweaver, because the world froze to ice under the mighty flap of his wings. No army in the world could defeat him. Only the song of an elf queen could warm his heart, and so he gave her folk the power of the ice. In return, she promised to remain in his cold shelter and sing for him for eternity. This pact lasted for 1,000 years, until today.
At last!
What happened? Where am I?
Welcome to Mira Thor, a godforsaken swamp somewhere in the black heart of Urgath. Truly no beautiful place, but you'll soon have an opportunity to change that.
What do you want?
You'll find that out soon enough. But not here. Too many dark creatures nearby.
The rune subjects me to your will. Command and I will obey.
Tempting.
Grim, turn over the rune. That was our agreement.
But an obedient fighter serves our cause more.
Hand it over.
Very well. Here, you're free.
Welcome, friend. I am Lena. This is Grim.
Enough of this. Follow us. We can talk in the refugee camp. Now, here we can talk.
Well, why am I here?
To help these people here like we do.
And liberate someone who's being held captive here.
You may not remember us, but we fought together in the Convocation War. We were once friends, inasmuch as friendships can be kept under the rune.
And because we're lacking a couple of good fighters, we thought of you.
Who can turn down old friends? And where else should I go? Speak. What is your plan?
First of all, we need more support. We have to gather more runes to form an effective fighting force.
For these people, the servants of the rune are heroes, not monsters. They once followed two famous rune warriors.
Old Idar there is their leader. Talk to him. He'll surely give you a speech then. We'll wait until he's done.
Welcome, Rune Warrior. Oh, I'm afraid we can't offer you much comfort. We just have the bare necessities here.
Pay that no mind. Grim says you are the leader of these people?
They occasionally listen to me. But since Grim showed up here, well, less and less. Who wouldn't rather follow an old warrior instead of an old man? In the old days, we used to follow people like you. Rune Warriors liberated us, and it was Rune Warriors who founded the Resistance.
What is this resistance?
It's primarily made up of escaped slaves, who have set themselves the goal of liberating others who weren't as lucky.
Slaves of whom?
Mira Thor was one of the hubs of the slave trade in Urgath. The orcs and the trolls from the surrounding tribes often came here to buy fresh slaves. Most of the people here were slaves, prisoners from Fiara, or abducted mariners. They drudged for the orcs, and an early death was the fate waiting for us. But after the Battle of Fiara, Dunnan and Raelwis showed up here, free rune warriors. They freed many of us and taught us how to fight, and that's how we founded the Resistance. As rangers, we fought the slave drivers, until the rune warriors began fighting among themselves, and the Resistance fell apart.
Would these people follow me because I'm a rune warrior?
No. Not even Grim can convince them to fight. They'd only follow Dunham and Reowis.
So it's my task to bring them back.
Yes, take Grim and Lena along with you and look for Dunnan and Reowis. Willett was a loyal follower of Dunnan. He knows where Dunnan has gone.
Good. Then I'll talk to Willett.
Warrior, speak to Willett. Great honor for Willett.
Idar told me you were a follower of Dunnan, and you know where I can find him.
Dunnan, yes. Willett was servant of him. Great warrior and king, and ruin warrior, just like you.
Where can I find him?
No, Dunnan was mad at Reowis, mad at Adar, mad at Willett. Poor Willett. Dunnan go away in anger. You go look for him?
That I will, as soon as you finally tell me where he went.
To the Storm Cleaver Rocks, to the Kithars. That way you go. You got to follow the path to the north, then to west. Up there you find the portal that bring you to the Storm Cleaver Rocks. But long, dangerous route through the swamp till you get there. What's that? Ooh, Rune Warrior. Ooh. Rune Warrior, mighty. Hepskex.
We're in a hurry, scamp.
What happened to you?
Janina, she is very sick. We bring Janina to Ulu, great healer. But hideous cats attack us. We get separated from Janine. Janine lost. You help Janina. Not far to north she is. Yes, you help Janina. Go and slay hideous cat creatures.
Anina.
She belonged to the Resistance.
We thought she was dead. She was the reason Dunham broke off contact with everyone. We have to help her.
Yes, perhaps she can take us to Dunnan.
Yes, north you go. Follow back to Crossroad. There, Janina, somewhere.
But I don't know you.
I am a Rune Warrior. We are looking for Dunhan.
Dunnan, that fool. You won't like what you find.
The Scourge tell of an illness that is plaguing you.
It's a curse. A curse born of love that turned to hate. 2 brothers once courted me. One of them a proud warrior, the other a still magician. Their struggle for my favor turned into a dispute, and finally hatred. Their dispute split the Resistance apart and threatened to destroy us all. It has cost us many lives, and finally, my own. The only reason I'm standing here before you is because one of those brothers commissioned a black magician to bring my soul back from the realms of the dead, but he sacrificed his own in return. Now he is a blinded creature full of loathing, and I may be alive, but an alien creature has returned with me from beyond the threshold of death, a spirit clinging to my soul. Now this creature murmurs of its bloodlust day and night. It steals my dreams and wallows in my fear. If only he had left me in the realms of the dead.
Was Dunhan one of those brothers?
Yes, he was the one who imposed this fate on me. He is a hothead, but a good fighter. His brother Cetrius is his silent opposite. Once, we 3 fought together with Reowis for the Resistance. Dunnan is a born leader, and the Rangers were loyal to him. But now he is holed up behind walls and mercenaries. Resistance and freedom mean nothing to him anymore. He has even driven away his rune brother, Reowis.
Come, we will bring you to your healer.
My illness is not one you know of. Something resides within me. Who knows? Perhaps death is the best escape for me.
Nothing will happen to you. We will bring you safely to your healer. Let him decide what to do.
Hulu's village lies to the east of here, beyond the Claw Ravine. It's a far piece from here, and the Kithars are on the rampage. But go on ahead. I'll follow you.
Oh, you bring Janina! Great rune warrior come back to help us!
She hopes to be healed from her curse. Could you make that happen, Skirk?
Me no can do that. Too powerful is the spirit that surrounds her soul. Hulu's power not sufficient to drive out the spell. She must face the powers what torture her.
How is that supposed to happen?
Only the one who put this curse on her can take it away from her.
Dunhan.
Behind his warriors and walls he sits. Madness lives in his spirit. But Cetrius, his brother, he help you. Follow the route to the northeast. There Cetrius have his camp. But many Kithars and crawlers along the way. But we help you. Our huts and land you can use, for you need more soldiers for the march.
Janina, you're alive. What good fortune.
I greet you, Cetrius.
I see no joy in your eyes.
I've returned from the realms of the dead. Dunan's wrath killed me, but his lust brought me back.
He loves you, as I did.
Pah, love. He made a monster out of me. He dragged me out of eternal sleep, but something returned with me. A monster that now lives in my soul.
Then you are not here to make a new start?
I'm here to put an end to it.
Then we must take you to Dunham. There is a way if the rune warriors accompanying you will give us a hand. I can't say I'm pleased with your visit, but do accept my thanks for bringing Janina safely here.
You said you needed help?
Yes. Janina must face Dunham if she is to escape from the curse that weighs upon her.
Actually, we came here to look for Dunan. The Resistance needs him.
My brother has succumbed to insanity. His Kithar mercenaries are plundering the land, and all he can think of is killing me. He couldn't care a less about the Resistance anymore. But there is a way to help me, and perhaps Janina as well. But first you must eliminate the Kithars guarding him. My rangers are brave, but they are no match for the elite of the Kithars. We must weaken the Kithars. A poison would help us. These beasts can take a lot, but the poison of the wild fire blossom will weaken and confuse them.
You want to poison a horde of Kithar warriors? How?
That's where you come in. I will give you some poison, and you will pollute their water source with it.
The gate to their land is locked.
A mountain trail leads from here across the Stormcleaver rocks. This way you can pass unseen to the reservoir. Put the poison in the well there.
Where will we find this mountain trail?
It begins to the north of here in the mountains. Follow it across the Stormcleaver rocks, then you can't miss the reservoir. Here you have some wild fire poison. Put it in the well.
There, the poison is taking effect.
Ah, what?
It's starting. Quickly, open the gate for Cetrius and his troops.
Come over here! Let's get it on!
You've caused enough misery, brother.
You bastard dare come here? Eager for death, brother dear?
Eager for peace, Dunnan.
Janina! You scorn me and join forces with that bastard? Is that the thanks for rescuing you from the realm of death?
Rescuing me? This is no life for me, Dunnan, and you're just a pathetic shadow of your former self.
Pathetic? I'll show you how pathetic I am, you treasonous woman.
The spirit! It's free! It's all over. She has her peace. But his rune will reawaken him. We should flee.
Dunnan is mad. Take his rune. This is the only way.
Wait.
Come on now, we've got to move on.
Those were elves. Why are the elves attacking us, here in the middle of Urgoth?
You tell him, Grim.
Do you know the tale of Arin, the Frostweaver, and his pact with the elves?
The legend of the Winter Dragon? Of course I do, but...
It's not just a legend. The dragon is just as real as Senwyn, the queen who sang for him beneath the ice.
For thousands of years.
But no longer. The Ice Elves have abducted the Queen from the glacier, so that Arin might rise again and fly looking for her over the land.
And envelop them with eternal ice.
As it was thousands of years ago.
But their pact with the dragon was always sacred to the elves.
Sacred? Only sacred because he gave them the power of ice magic. What could be better for them than an eternal winter in which they possess absolute power?
So, you and the resistance forces are no longer fighting the orcs, but rather the ice elves?
Yes, they came 1 moon ago and drove the orcs out of Mirathor. Then they concealed the queen in a prison up there in the city. We're trying to liberate her with the aid of the refugees.
At first I couldn't believe it, but Grim is right. Who else knows the queen's hiding place? Who else could survive the eternal winter that the dragon brings?
Whoever says beauty must always have a pure heart. If this is your battle, then it is mine as well.
What's this? You're not one of that bungling magician's men?
No, I'm not one of Warren's men.
But you are a rune warrior, and you are here to get rid of that bungler, aren't you? A rune warrior. Magnificent. I've got just a mission for you.
What kind of a mission, old man?
My numbskull of a servant, Lucius, fell into the clutches of those fiends, along with my load of merchandise. A couple of hours on the goblin's whipping post wouldn't do Lucius any harm, but I really miss my merchandise. It's right up there. Set the good fellow free if you feel like it. I'll wait here.
Come along with me. He's your servant, after all.
I'd rather not spend my time in the company of idle statues. But wait, I have something else for you. Here.
What's that?
This is a raw runestone. Take it along with you and look out for that goblin with the 2 knives.
You're talking in riddles, you old owl.
You'll be surprised. Now, off you go. My time doesn't run around in circles.
Oh, I'm free.
So it seems, friend.
Oh, you? Have you set me free?
Your sharp vision is astounding.
Oh, good. Thank you. Now you can buy some of my wares. Yeah.
In gratitude? Buy something?
Oh, my master has forbidden me to give things away. I used to give lots of things away. My master didn't like that at all. My master, that's the man with the mask. Don't you know? He will certainly give you a handsome reward. Just go and see him. Or buy something nice yourself. Just look at my wares.
Ah, the rune is back.
Your servant is free.
Magnificent. Have you conquered the goblin?
That I have.
Then you will have noticed he has something peculiar on his person.
Yes, a kind of essence.
Your own runic power makes it visible to you, but hardly had you discovered it when it disappeared again, gone off into the raw runestone I gave you.
This is rune magic.
Right. Now you have that goblin sleeping rune, and with a simple bit of magic, I'll awaken it for you.
How did you master the rune carving?
Bah, to do that you need a circle mage with all his power. The rune stones already have the power within themselves. All I do is take advantage of it. So, now you have that goblin's rune. Call him to a monument the same way you called your other rune slaves. He will serve you. I'll give you another runestone. Watch out to see if you discover an essence like this on an enemy. Then his soul is worthy of being bound to the rune. If the runestone has taken on a further essence, bring it to me. I can awaken it for you.
You're always welcome here, friend.
What do you know about Grim and Lena?
Me? Nothing. I'm just an old man. I'm not interested in those things anymore.
I mean about their origin and their history.
Oh, I see. Back then, Lena came to us with Dunnan and Railwis. She was initiated in magic by the Ice Elves, and she met the two rune warriors there. She's a good girl, and her heart's in the right place. That Grim must be an old acquaintance of hers, like you. He came to us one day after the Ice Elves had captured the city. Lena arranged for him to live with us. And since that day, he has taken over the leadership more and more. I think he's a little too hot-headed. But Lena and the others like that.
Do you know the saga of the Winter Dragon?
Ha! Who doesn't know it?
Tell it to me again.
The Winter Dragon. That's Arin, also called the Frostweaver. When the lands were still young, and the first children of the gods walked on the face of the earth, the dragons ruled the skies, and the mightiest of them all was Arin. He was the essence of winter. Wherever he flew, the land froze to ice. He moved across the world looking for a companion, a creature that was his equal, but all life fled from his chill. When his icy breath reached the great elven forest, Phenomic, Senwyn, the last queen of the elves, set out to beg him to have mercy on her people. Alone, in the frozen wasteland, she sang to herself to keep her courage. The dragon hearkened to her song high above the clouds. He came down, listened to the song of the elf. The melody warmed his forever cold heart for the first time. Then he asked the elf to join him and remain by his side forever. And so, Arin flew off with Senwyn to his home in the north. He wove a thick ice shell around them. Today we call it the Frostweaver Glacier. Down there, under the ice, she has sung for him since that day, while the dragon sleeps. In return for her sacrifice, the elves were given the ice magic, and the world had spring again. Yes, when all's said and done, we owe it to Senwyn that the people and the kingdoms ever existed in the first place, because otherwise all life would have frozen solid in the dragon's winter.
Tell me about this land.
I've already told you about Miral Thor. However, there are other routes leading to other regions. In the north, the road leads to Frostfall, which actually belongs to Fiara already. If you climb the mountains there, you get to Tirganath, to the land of the Ice Elves of the Arin cult. To the east of the city, there is yet another portal, which is usually closed off by a gate. It leads to the lands of the Crimson Empire. That's not a place you'll want to stay. Even the orcs keep the gate perpetually locked.
What do you know about Tirganach?
That is a city on the Frostweaver's Glacier, high in the mountains of Fiara. The elves who live there are different from the common wood elves of Fiara. They are masters of ice magic and live according to strict rules. They ferociously defend the glacier and their holy places. Many people believe they are not true servants of the light anymore. They say that they even challenged a rune warrior in the Battle of Fiara.
So you think they're dangerous?
I think that power can destroy the spirit, but I can't imagine an evil elf, if that's what you mean.
Tell me about the Crimson Empire.
Shaldun, the burning city. Once one of the greatest cities of the Dark Elves lay there, until the ground split apart and gave birth to a fire-spitting mountain that devoured half the city. Some Dark Elves interpreted this as a sign from Sara, and so they now regard the city as their holiest temple.
But the Dark Elves are pledged to the Night God Nor, aren't they?
That sect from Shaldun may still acknowledge Nor, but they consider themselves the chosen people of Zara. They study the magic of the fire, and yearn to sacrifice in flames the other lands to their lord. Let's hope that gate stays locked up forever.
Come out of your caves. The time of lamentation is over. To arms!
Will Dunnan and Reowis lead us?
Their power now serves this rune warrior. They will fight by our side.
Against elves? Servants of the light? Fighting orcs and slave drivers was another matter.
Don't let their beauty blind you. They are as cold and gruesome as the ice. You just stay here with your campfire and your yarns, old man. But let everyone who has courage and wishes to prove his honor to Dunham and Reowis follow me. Off to the city!
You fools! I ought to destroy you. You have no idea what you're fighting against.
Oh, sorry. Did I interrupt you? Thank you for your key, old witch.
Grim, what have you done?
I've protected us from her magic, my precious. And I have the White Priestess's key. That's what counts. I can use it to open the prison and the fire gate. Off to the prison! Master, you are free.
Finally, these light crawlers were beginning to bore me.
A Friel Dark, a prince of the darkness. May the gods preserve us.
I see you've brought along an entourage.
They are only tools, Master.
Grim, that was your plan? You wanted to free this monster and not the queen?
How flattering. Speaking of the Queen...
Senwyn is in safe hands and on the way to the burning city, Master.
Very good. Do you have the key to the fire gate?
Yes. The Ice Witch doesn't need it any longer.
Then there is nothing to keep us here anymore, my servant.
Don't you want to come along, precious?
Grim, you've used my love to sow darkness. You will die by my hand, traitor. I swear it!
Pity. You were useful and entertaining. You light believers are so quickly deceived.
Let our army take on this worm. The city will burn. Come now. Let us begin the ritual.
What is this? The sisters dead? The monster free?
Elune!
Lena? Is my old pupil responsible for all this here? Whatever got into you?
We were deceived, Elune. Punish us as you will, but bring these people to safety. They opened the fire gate.
Then the Crimson Empire will descend on us.
Take these people into your care, Elune. This is the only way we can still rescue them. They are good people.
The High Priestess will judge you. Until then, seek protection in our lands. Follow me to the gate.
Follow us with the people, Rune Warrior. Watch out for the troops of the Crimson Empire. They're sure to be here already. Frostfall, we made it. We have to get up there. But first we have to reach the Winter Keep, the frontier fortress of Tirganach. But before that we must cross the Blood Swamp with its Torg trolls and tree wraiths. We're not rid of Urgoth yet. The refugees will be arriving soon. We have to secure the route up to the frontier fortress. The swamp here is deadly. Not far from here in the north lies the village of the Gultark Orcs. There is also a rune monument there. Ever since the Winter Guard marched through here, the Gultarks have been weakened. If we can take possession of their camp, the swamp will lose its terror for us. The refugees are coming. Idar will take them to a usable campsite.
Why a campsite? Let them move right on into the mountains. There is no time to rest.
Most of his men were never well nourished, and the last few days haven't made the situation any better. They're totally exhausted. You should give the refugees some food from your rune armies. Then they'll soon be ready to march on.
Let them take what they need. First, however, I'll have to find some food in this stinking hole. Get the people through the portal. They'll be here soon.
Keep them away as long as you can. The elves of the garrison will support you. The Drakon is boiling mad. Get ready for a tough battle.
Very well.
The refugees got through. Come along, we can't win this one.
For Alwanir's honor!
So we meet again, Rune Warrior.
What do you know? Why don't you come along with me to the elf settlement? It's warm there, and you'll have a roof over your head as well.
Didn't I say I'm not comfortable in the vicinity of idol statues?
Ah, friend, what a march! I'm all tuckered out. That blasted mountain is so cold. Thunderation! If you hadn't helped us, they would have sent us all to Kingdom Come. That was a close call. I always knew that Grim was a windbag, but nobody ever listens to me. First, I have to rest up. Here, this is all I can give you. I hope you may find it useful.
Here for the time being. They won't dare attack Tirganach. You've saved many lives these past few days. We must be very grateful for that.
Even if we brought misery over the land?
Grim, that cheating dog. Now it's all clear. His promises, his plan, the way he mocked Idar.
What about the abducted queen and the dragon? Another lie?
I don't know. We better talk to Elune and try to find out what's going on here. I'll look after the refugees.
How could Grim trick you like that?
I know him from earlier times, from before the war. We were almost just children when I decided to study the lore of the winter with Elune. Grim was always a hothead. He was infuriated about our separation and sailed far away on the first ship that came along. After that, I heard nothing more from him until he suddenly showed up in Mir Thor on the day the Ice Elves came. How could I have been so gullible? But he was so determined. It was exactly what we needed after we lost Dunhand and Reois. But his passion for battle, his fear of the cold, I should have put two and two together. I guess love really makes you blind. But now my eyes are open. And these eyes will see the traitor die, I promise you.
Did you learn your magic from Elune?
Yes, when I came here I was almost still a child. Elune indoctrinated me in the spells of ice magic, but allowed me to retain my faith. But at some point in time, after the Battle of Fiara, rune warriors came through Tirganach. They told of the battle and the fate of the slaves in Mir Thur. You can imagine the rest.
But why did you let them turn you against your teachers?
These elves up here are different than the ones in the forest. Colder, harder. Many people say they are no longer servants of the light, and don't believe I didn't hate them during my apprenticeship. But I should never have taken up arms against them.
Welcome to Tirganach, rune warrior.
I thank you for the protection you have granted us.
My sisters are less well disposed toward you, but every life is of equal value.
What really happened? Was everything just a lie? No abducted queen, no dragon awakening?
Not everything the fire servant told you was a lie. The queen under the ice was really abducted. The Fial Darg stole her away with the aid of his art of disguise. Then he fled to Mir Thor to take refuge among his orc servants. We followed him. The White Priestess succeeded in putting a spell on him, but the queen had disappeared. We questioned the Fial Darg, but he just jeered at us, and so we enclosed him in ice in the hope of breaking his will. Meanwhile, this Grim must have taken the queen out of the country without being noticed. Then he tricked you so he could liberate his lord and open the gates to the Crimson Empire.
What must be done now?
The queen must be set free. Even if it costs us our lives, she must return to Arin.
Or you will set out to search for her.
And with him, eternal winter will come over the world. He is still weak, but we can already sense his fury.
But how will we find the queen?
Oh, finding her will be easy, but no light believer can get through to her alive. The fire of the Crimson Empire would consume you. Even our Winter Guard could not penetrate into Shaldun, the burning rock, which is ruled by the Fial Darg. We have to find a way to withstand the flames. I remember that the dwarves once knew of a way to be spared by the fire. Talk to Idale, our High Priestess. She knows the legends.
Why do you think the Fiel Darg abducted Senwin?
We know it wasn't because of the dragon. He couldn't care less about him. Bear in mind, Senwin is very special. She is a godchild, a firstborn, one of the first elves to wander over the globe. The blood of the firstborn still contains the magic of the gods, and rituals carried out with this blood have divine power. That is why the Fial Darg had to abduct Senwin, because there aren't many firstborns left. She might very well be the last one. On Willow Winter Day, the disk of the sun will cover Aonir's star. Then he must sacrifice her to achieve his plan. Bringing the dark gods back to Ao. This creature does not care what might then happen to us, to Arin, or even to his own servants.
You're polluting this place, Rune Servant. If only Elune had never brought you here. We won't tolerate any foreigners on the glacier.
Even so, you let the Dark Ones trick you.
State your business and then go. I don't like wasting my precious time with you, creature.
Do you know of a magical protection against fire?
There is a story about the old dwarf smiths who were able to withstand the greatest heat at their forges. They call this magic the Firebane, an old secret they always guarded well. Wars and time have wiped out most of the old smiths, We only know of one who is still alive. His name is Windjalf. He lives in Fastholm, the dwarf town in the Grimwarg Mountains. To get there, you must keep to the east. Before that, however, you will have to cross an old battlefield called the Winterdeep. It's a dangerous place. Once someone has opened the city gate for you, follow the trail to the east. Watch out for the trolls who live there.
Why did the field Darg abduct the queen from the ice?
If you think he did this to release Arin and bring us all the winter death, then you're wrong. He couldn't care less about the dragon.
He couldn't care less about the Frostweaver?
No, the one and only thing he is after is the queen's blood. That's what he wants. The blood of a firstborn. You see, there are magical rituals that can influence beings or natural forces, and there are rituals that can even move the gods.
He wants to bring the dark gods back to the world?
Yes, and only the blood of the godchild, a firstborn, contains the force to power that ritual. When the sun on Willow Winter Day covers Aonir's star, he will perform the ritual. If he succeeds, he will open a gateway in the spell of the gods, and the renegades will return.
Then Nor and Zarach will again wander about the world. But what a world that will be. A world of ice in which a lonely dragon calls in vain for his dead queen.
Yes, but Zarach created the Dark Nations. Why shouldn't he be able to bring forth new races? And the Fjaldarg will wait for his master in the abyss, in the heart of the world. We fear the dragon just as you do, for his wrath drives the creatures of winter out of the mountains and against our walls. But what truly strikes fear in our hearts is that ritual on Willow Winter Day.
How much time do we have?
Enough to take action, not enough to give long speeches.
They're coming back. It's starting all over again.
What's wrong?
We are guards at the graves in Winterdeep. We have long watched over the sleep of the fallen. But a couple of days ago, the earth trembled. The ice broke open. And through the cracks, their spirits are coming back to the light. Winterdeep is full of spirits. They are fighting their final battle all over again. Stay away from this place.
My path leads on farther, to Fastholm.
Then you must cross the valley with all its horrors. Be on your guard. Down there on the roadside, the former leaders of the armies are fighting with one another. We will hold out here until the wounded have regained enough strength to travel on, and hope that peace will reign over this land again soon. Good luck, friend.
Why are some of your companions wounded?
Since the days of that accursed battle, we joined together with the elves from Tirganach to watch over the sleep of our dead. This sight served as a warning against battles between nations of the light, until that earthquake turned it into a place of horror. The elves were just as surprised as we were when the spirit suddenly fell upon us from all sides. Many died. Now we haven't got enough medicine, and our people are too weak to move on.
What kind of an earthquake was it?
It was as if the mountains themselves were breaking apart. Then a cry rang out across the land, and it chilled everyone's blood in their veins.
Arin has awakened.
Nidolf, protect us. Then was that the call of the dragon that we heard?
And it was his fury that has put this whole country in an uproar. What kind of battle took place here?
It was the last battle of the elves against us dwarves. A senseless struggle over land and old debts. The armies clashed here in Winterdeep. Battle axes and arrows did their work, and death reaped a rich harvest. They fought for days on end, light against light, until the goals of the battle were long forgotten, and only naked loathing drove them on against each other. When Garvin and Rogras, the commanders, fell, this unholy war finally came to an end. Since then, this place has warned us that even the children of the light are powerless against the darkness in their souls. Since then, elves and dwarves have sent warriors and priests to this place to pray together and watch over the peace of the dead.
Where will I find Windyelf, the smith?
Windjoff. Windjoff is gone, and soon we will be too. The earthquake and the ice opened old chambers and old graves. Enemies we believe dead are returning to the daylight. Gorg, an undead giant from the old world, is free again, and he has captured Windjoff. He is torturing him in his cave in the east. While this goes on, his henchmen are storming our walls.
My king, a new attack is beginning.
Don't stand there as if you're rooted to the spot, Rune Warrior. Call over your troops and defend the city. Use our buildings, reinforce our defense. Gather new strength. Soon more attacks will begin. When these mountains here were still young, there was a conflict between the giants Gorg from the ice fields and Utror from the fire lakes. Two brothers who couldn't be more different. Neither of the two was able to win the upper hand, and so their conflict continued. Year by year, decade by decade. Then Gorg found out about the secret of the Firebane, which the dwarves of the old times had discovered. A magic that allowed the smith to work on the hottest forges in the interior of the earth. Then Gorg was struck with greed, and he urged the dwarf smith to tell him the secret. But he shrouded himself in silence. Gorg came up with a trick, and invited the dwarves to a celebration of the solstice in his cave in the eternal ice. While the dwarves were celebrating and getting drunk, suddenly Gorg's loyal wolflings jumped up and pounced on them. Then Gorg demanded that they tell him the secret of the Firebane, or else he would slay them all. Windjoff pretended to relent and told the giant to come closer so he could whisper the secret in his ear. But when the dumb giant bent over him, quick as a flash, Windjoff grabbed a wolfling's axe and severed his head from his trunk, then ran away. But even the headless body came staggering after him. That's how greedy the giant was. His brothers put down the wolflings, but more and more kept pouring out of the caves, and the headless giant kept right on following the dwarf. Then Windjoff took his hammer and slammed it full strength against the walls of the cave. Rock and ice trembled, and the giant's cave collapsed. It buried Gorg and his servants, but many of the dwarfs were also crushed. Now the quake has opened the old chambers, and even after his death, the greedy, infuriated giant is still trying to get the secret out of Windjoff.
A human? No, more than that. Or should I say, less.
Just say thank you.
Ha! I'd rather die in this hole.
Go home. You are free.
I was captured by an unnatural creature, and another one liberated me.
Hold your tongue, dwarf. I didn't come here to get insulted.
Forgive my words, but you don't give a fig about my life. All you're interested in is what I know.
So be it then. We have to get back to town. We can talk there. Well, Windjelf, now that you're safe...
The real reason you did it will come out.
The Firebane.
The Firebane. If I would rather die and endanger my brothers to preserve the secret from an old ice giant, why should I reveal it to a rune warrior?
Because otherwise you will cause an even greater catastrophe, old man. Spare me your bickering.
If there were not a blood debt between us, I would slaughter you right where you stand. Be that as it may, I owe you my life and my brothers' lives as well. It is yours. Take the Firebane, and with him the secret knowledge of my ancestors. May the gods see your cause is just. Farewell, rune servant.
May Alandr give us peace.
What happened to Adele?
She fell off a cliff on the eastern mountain. We don't know how it happened, but hardly anybody believes Idale simply lost her balance.
A creature?
We don't know, but Lethair, one of the sisters who accompanied her, claims a novice pushed her.
You mean an elf killed another elf?
It was a long time ago, but there have been dark chapters in our past. We hardly have any laws, but Lethair has demanded that I lock up Betha. Lethair is a priestess. I can hardly refuse, but I have a feeling there is more than one lie in the air.
Should I help you with the investigation?
You're a foreigner. They aren't likely to tell you anything. On the other hand, you have no customs and rules of an order that bind you. Question Betha, Lethair, and the guard Phenomig. All three of them were with the High Priestess Idale on the Eastern Mountain. Try to find out which one is responsible for Idale's death. Once you've formed an opinion, come back to me.
What do you want, human?
I want to ask you a couple questions.
Then Eileen must have sent you. I have already named the murderers. What's the point of all this?
Tell me what happened.
A foolish business. Very well. Adele went to the Eastern Mountain with us to carry out the ritual of purification, as most of the beasts had been driven away. There were Adele, myself, the novice Betha, and that uncouth Phenomig, who was supposed to protect us. When we reached the crest, we separated. The inept novice had forgotten the Alandr chalice and was sent back to town to fetch it. Phenomig went off to track down the source of some noise. I set out to look for snow blossoms for the ritual. I must have been away for some time. When I got back, novice Betha was standing alone on the cliff, and the high priestess Adele lay dead in the valley. At that moment, Phenomig returned. I sent him into town immediately to fetch the guards.
Then how do you know Betha pushed her into the valley?
The high priestess could be as hard as ice, and Betha often shed many tears. She hated Adele, I can tell you that.
Tell me about Phenomig.
What is there to say about him? He's a human, but I think he's quite useful as a guardsman.
Tell me something about Betha.
An insignificant character. She could perhaps already have become a priestess, if she weren't so wrapped up in her emotions.
Tell me something about yourself.
I'm beginning to get a little impatient, but very well. I am a priestess of Arin, keeper of this place and its sacred bond with the Frost Weaver. I have given myself over completely to the service of the community, like all the others here.
Thank you. Farewell.
I didn't do it! You must believe me!
Calm down. I am just here to question you. Tell me what happened.
Idale? The High Priestess Idale, told me to carry the things she had prepared for a ritual prayer. Together with Lethair, who was to assist her in carrying out this ritual, and Phenomig, we went up to that place on the cliff. I remember that Phenomig went away to trace the sound we had heard. When I handed the High Priestess the artifacts, I noticed I had forgotten the Alandr chalice. As she was so often before, she was very annoyed, and sent me off to fetch the chalice. I ran to the village as quickly as possible, but when I got back, there was nobody there. I went over to the cliff, and there she lay, dead. I found her just as she's now. You must believe me. Then suddenly Lethair was back there, accusing me. Phenomia came back, and Lethir sent him to the other guards. I was so confused. That's all I know. Please, you must believe me. It's the truth.
And what about Phenomia?
Oh, he's a decent fellow. One of the few humans that will tolerate up here. He voluntarily joined forces with us. He serves with the guards. I was glad he went with us. Who knows what sort of creatures are crawling around here?
Tell me something about Lethir.
Lethir is, very headstrong. I don't like her. She frightens me. She worked hard to become Adele's right-hand woman, and she makes the rest of us work just as hard.
Tell me something about yourself.
About me? There isn't much to tell. I'm just trying to serve Aaron and my sisters as well as I can, even if it isn't always easy.
I have no more questions. Thank you. Greetings, Phenomia.
You know my name?
I know of Adele's death. Eileen has sent me to find out what happened here.
So Alina sent a foreigner. Looks like she doesn't trust any of us. How can I help you?
Tell me what happened here.
I was commanded to protect Betha and the High Priestess during a ritual. I believe it had something to do with purifying a desecrated site. So we went up onto the eastern mountain. Lethir came along. Adele chided Betha about some chalice. Then I heard footsteps above our path. I went up to have a look, but I couldn't find anything. When I got back, Lethir and Betha were standing on the cliff, and the High Priestess lay dead in the valley. Lethir sent me to town to call the guards. As I left, I heard her accusing Betha of pushing Adele into the abyss.
Tell me something about Betha.
Betha is a novice in Aaron's order. She is a good creature. She wouldn't harm a fly. She didn't kill Adele. That simply cannot be.
Tell me something about Lethir.
Lethir is cut from the same cloth as Adele, or better said, from the same ice. Adele was a difficult woman. She is a domineering woman, but she works hard. I have a feeling she'd like to be the High Priestess.
Tell me something about yourself.
Me? I'm a god.
But how did you happen to come here?
I was in the retinue of an ambassador of the Utronians. We came up here when the frost marshes were still open. I was fascinated by the elves, their knowledge and their devotion. My lord allowed me to stay, and finally the elves agreed. Since then I've served with the guards under Eileen's command. They value my services because I can wear heavy armor, and these armored fists have taken many an iron that were too hot for the elves to handle.
Who do you think did it?
I'd be inclined to suspect Lethir. She always wanted to become the High Priestess, and Betha would never do anything like that.
Thank you. I may come back a bit later.
Did you find out who murdered Idale?
I think I know the truth.
Let's hear it.
It's not the way you think it is.
Speak. What have you found out?
It was the guard, Phenomia.
Phenomia? That loyal soul? You think he murdered her?
Yes, he did.
What gives you that idea?
You were the one who told me that Phenomia had his eye on Betha. The way Idale was treating Betha must have gotten him madder than he will admit, but he can't hide it. He must have come back from his patrol earlier than expected, and when he challenged Idale, they got into a fight.
But that's just your surmise.
We'll never find out for sure, but we know that nobody heard a scream. Idale must have fallen down there in silence. She did, because Phenomia first strangled her in his fury. If you examine Idale's corpse, you'll see several cuts on her neck that could have been made by armor gloves, like the ones Phenomia wears. And he's the only one who wears gloves like that.
You're right. I noticed the marks, but Phenomia's gloves never occurred to me. That poor fool. He has a good heart. Nonetheless, he's only human. Have you been able to obtain the Firebane?
I have the Firebane, the secret knowledge of the dwarves.
Then you are ready. My sisters and I must tarry here. Idale has departed from us. A new priestess must be appointed. You, however, should not delay. We don't know how much time still remains, and the way to the Fire City is treacherous.
Never shade frontier. And I was hoping I'd never have to see Urgath again.
What kind of wall is this?
Dark Wall, the old frontier gate. No army has ever managed to take it.
There are enough monuments here for a large army.
Troops alone will not suffice. We need a trick to surmount this bulwark.
Destroyers of the dwarves would be useful.
Before the Fire Empire came about, humans settled here along with a few dwarfs. And according to the stories people tell, there should be a secret portal to the east. We should explore the area more precisely. Perhaps we'll find a way to surmount Darkwall.
Well, you don't exactly look like a troll. What brings you to these parts, human?
I'm looking for a way to break through the Dark Wall.
From the west? Impossible. But from the east? Do you have any army positioned outside the wall?
Aye. As soon as the wall has fallen, I will destroy the Imperials.
That sounds like quite a plan, friend. Ha! I'll send you a few of my men. There is a passageway in the valley that will get you through to the eastern side.
My thanks. We will try to be as discreet as possible.
Shaldun, the burning city. We made it to our destination.
And to the end of our trail. Why are you hesitating, Dark Elf?
I'm not here to stop you, human. My lord's plan must not be allowed to succeed.
Doesn't your lord want to bring the dark gods back to the world? Isn't that your wish?
That is the wish of the priests and the archons. I'm a soldier, and as a soldier I must protect my people, sometimes from themselves.
And the winter the dragon brings will also kill your people.
That's why, if my people are to live, you must prevail. I have only one choice. I will turn over the Star Guard, the army of the Star City, to you. It is loyal to me. Use them for your protection. Hurry to set up your defenses. The other armies will soon be here. First, you must get a hold of the keys to the 3 cities to penetrate through the volcano. But before that, call your armies, and let us talk further afterwards. If you really want victory, you must know how the 3 cities and the Burning Rock are interconnected. The 3 cities of Shaldun are named after the moon, the sun, and the stars. Each city has a key, but only all 3 keys together will open the gates to the Burning Rock. You must acquire all these keys, but every city has its own army and priests, who protect them with powerful magic.
How will I get my hands on the 3 keys?
You must secure them from the high priests of the cities.
The priests of the Star City are well versed in mental magic. The Moon City is the stronghold of black magic, and the Sun City a single temple of fire. The Star City should be the easiest one for you, but the two other cities are protected by towered barriers. You will need magical protection to cross them. Both cities have secretly increased their magic to enable them to withstand the power of the others. You must gain access to this magic.
Why is this city so strangely divided?
Priests, friend. Magicians and priests. Every one of them is determined to be the right one, the only true one. When the Fire Fortress arose and severed the city into 3 parts, that's when the Zarach cult came into being. Priests, who from then on regarded us Norcanes as emissaries of the fire and servants of Zarach. But of course the preachers of Nor, who had guided us until then, didn't want to share their power. A bitter conflict came about between the schools of magic, too. Finally, they divided the city among themselves, and the people who didn't want to get involved in this conflict gathered in the Star City, soldiers like me. This precipitated an uncertain peace. To mediate the power struggles, the Drakon at the time came up with the cunning idea of the 3 keys. This way the lords of the 3 cities could only enter the interior city together. But all sides independently sought ways to destroy their opponents. They tell of mighty creatures that were immune to the magic of the fire or the darkness. All this intriguing disgusts me. Let them die. The sooner our people get rid of these blinded fools, the better.
You are mightily arrogant, Light Worshipper. How much of a chance do you think you have, alone, against the hordes of the Crimson Empire?
You've come all the way here to taunt me.
To offer you a pact. What would you say if I were to give you the key to the Moon City? And not only that, should you agree to the pact, the armies of the Moon City would retreat.
Do I have the goodness of your heart to thank for that?
No. You destroy those miserable upstarts, those fire priests and their leader. Then, the servants of Nor will again guide our people back onto the right path.
Good, Norcane. The pact is in effect.
A good decision. Here, take the key to the Moon City.
Can I use your land for my campaign?
By Nor's eye, no. Our men must not find out anything about our deal. They would immediately attack you. They should think we're preparing a mighty coup. So, you must stay away from the Moon City. If your troops were to come any closer, we would regard that as a breach of the pact.
Good. As long as your troops don't mount any more attacks, that will suffice for me, Ambassador. Worthy of my steel. Where is the Fialdarg, traitor?
Gone. In the abyss at the heart of the world, he's forging the spell that will bring our gods back to Ao. He is a son of the Dark Ones. Your weapons cannot affect him anyway.
But you will reveal to us what can injure him, won't you?
Lena? I'm sorry.
So am I, Grim. Because I know how much you hate the cold.
No! Stop! Ah!
Speak.
Only one weapon, a weapon not of this world, can conquer the field darg.
And you know where there's such a weapon?
He stole it long ago and is keeping it safe in the fire fangs. That's where he's hidden it, guarded by a fire angel. It is the Shadow Blade. It can kill him, but whoever wields it, his soul is lost.
Craig, we must move on to the Fire Fangs. We will try to get our hands on this Shadow Blade. The city is yours.
I will hold Shaldun for you. The firestone that opens the gate to the Abyss will be ready for you as soon as you return. What about him?
He just remembered a promise I gave him.
Lena, maiden, you wouldn't.
You didn't think I would miss out on the last chapter of your interesting journey, did you?
I've missed you, old man. No idol statues here?
Don't make fun of me. At my age, one gets a bit eccentric.
What's that, mortals? Here. Has my lord sent you? Has he finally heard my calls?
That voice.
As if it were speaking inside my head.
The shadows are free. The spell that held the sword in check is breaking. And they come pouring in through the crevices. The fires are going out. They are everywhere.
It is the shadows fleeing from the sword. He is losing his power over them.
We should join the game. He still knows nothing of the fall of the Fire City. Listen to me, guard. The Dark Lord has sent us here to help you.
Finally, be quick. Release your runic power. Drive them back. You must rekindle the spell fire. That will drive them back into the sword. The shadows are banished.
Nevertheless, the sword is not safe here. I will bring it to our lord.
What? Never. Never would the Lord tear the sword out of my hands. Impossible.
So be it. I'll take it.
You tricked me. You're not one of my Lord's servant. You're his enemy. And I gave you the knowledge. Well then, take it down into your grave, traitor.
Shadow Blade is ours.
Then the moment has come. It is time for you to face the Alandr. Take the Firestone. It will open the gate for you. May the gods forgive me.
The time has come. The path leads from here into the depths. Somewhere down there, he is holding Senwyn captive.
Lena! Lena!
Willett, I thought you were dead.
Oh no! Fire people capture Willett and drag here. But Willett ran away and hided. Dark men prepare grave magic. Many slaves work.
We've got to hurry.
Wait! You not come there! Glade walls of fire in way. Spirit fire, they call it.
Spirit fire. It burns hotter than any flame. There's no way we can get through there. Spirit fire is fed by the life force of mighty creatures. Will it try to remember? Do you know which souls the fires are bound to?
Ar, Gror, Colliprag, Flamagor. They guards over the abyss. Dark man do ritual with them.
It must be them. Each creature is keeping one of the fires alive. We must destroy them. Senwyn, my sovereign! Quickly, you must come with us.
Lena!
If you want something done, then do it yourself.
You'll pay for this, you monster!
You should be grateful to me that you can die by my hand, human. When my lords rule over this world again, suffering will get a brand new meaning. I should have taken more time with you. But you understand. I'm in a hurry. What can I do?
Die.
You're humans, aren't you? I remember stories.
The ice has separated you from the world for many years.
The ice. Aaron! Has he awakened?
He is still weak, but the mountains are already trembling from his fury.
I must get to him. The Covenant. His fury will be terrible. My magic can bring me to the north. But what about you?
I have my own means of travel.
Then we will meet in the north. Make haste. Aaron must be calmed down. How right you are. Much time has passed. This world has changed, if you can still even call it a world. I've made my sacrifice for another world. A world without portals or creatures like you.
Insane magicians have made this world and me into what we are. There is no turning back for us.
Nor for me. My place is at Aaron's side. Until the end of time.
Let us set out to Aaron.
The sacred gates will be opened for you. Go to the north, to Frostweaver Rift. We'll meet again there.